Welcome. This is we have a tradition in Judaism. 30 days after someone passes, we call it the shloshim. There's a spiritual meaning to it. We stop saying Kaddish for people after 30 days if they're not our parents, and that has to do with the soul's rise to heaven. And I'll just say that tomorrow marks the shloshim, marks the 30-day period for the passing of the 1,400 precious neshamas, souls that we lost on October 7th. These three precious souls were BFL members. Ben and Dor were at the festival, and they were killed on Sunday. And Omri was called into reserve duty as a fighter in Dub Divan. And he fell trying to save as many civilians as he could. I had the privilege of being with Ben. He's got the most beautiful smile, like all these guys, 4 days before he died. And yeah, it's every one of these, every one of the 1,400, every one of these three they're a universe, they're a world. And the world's very different now. So we just want to mark that they're shloshim, that Hashem should wrap his presence around their souls, and they should rest in Gan Eden with God. Amen. And along with all the other that have fallen, and may their memories be a blessing, really be a blessing for all of us. And I want to say that, we say on the walls of Achim L'Chaim, before you come into our center, it says Uvacharta v'chaim, choose life. Judaism is about life. We know that. Brothers for Life is about life. The IDF is about life. This is what we're fighting for, not just to be alive, but to live life to its fullest. And we owe that to all of these people. So thank you, Ohad, for sharing that. Guys, it's been an unbelievable month. And I want to say, I don't want this to be, it's a tough time, but there's so many incredible things happening in this country. And I want to say, from going from that transition to the Shloshim, for those of you, you probably all have seen this, but I'll tell you, you can't go anywhere in this country, anywhere, without seeing the words "Biyachad Ninatzeach." Together, we will win. Okay, you see it everywhere, and in my lifetime, I have never seen the togetherness, like the real togetherness of Am Yisrael, of the Jewish people, like I've seen in this past month. It's unbelievable. It's an incredibly good sign. I will just tell you that as a religious person, the Torah, only great things happen when the Jewish people come together. Only great things. And so with that, I want to say my slogan for all of us is B'yachad Lenetzach, which means together we will be forever. Together, the Jewish people will be forever. And that's really the feeling here that we have to carry with us. And it's really the truth that's gotten us here to this day. So I want to give you guys a really brief update of what's been happening here in Brothers Life on the ground. I'm going to go kind of quickly because there's so much, but let me just say this. In the first weeks of this war, there were over 600, in addition to all the people that we lost, the over 300 soldiers that fell, there were 600 soldiers who were injured. And of those initial 600, we had about 450 individual intake visits from our unbelievable. That means we've visited 450 individual newly injured soldiers with our team of over 100 volunteers, only injured soldiers, who went still today, hospital to hospital. In every hospital around the country, there are soldiers selflessly. Some of them are on this call. I was so blown away by what they've done and how they greeted these newly injured soldiers as their brothers and sisters. It really is awe-inspiring. I also want to tell you that we don't know the numbers of the soldiers who've been injured since we went into Gaza. My understanding is that there were 150 who were airlifted out by the rescue units. So it's 150 were seriously injured, and we will get to all of them. I want to tell you that there are a number, probably 200, from those first days who were getting injured, who were sent home early from the hospitals to make room for the civilians. So we are calling their units and we're going to get to them as well. We're providing for them immediate financial aid, long-term stay needs for hospital stays, including laptops and iPads, and even replacing their iPhones that were broken or lost. We are paying for taxis for their families to go back and forth. We're paying for medical equipment that they might need. They need a better wheelchair or bed or whatever it is. We're taking care of it. We have a hotline for all the injured soldiers and their families. They can call us on the WhatsApp line 24/7 with their needs, and we try to be there immediately. So I'm just blown away by what our team is doing, and it's really incredible. They're also paying for hospital stays, et cetera, et cetera. So um, it's really a remarkable thing. And so when I go into the hospitals, guys, I see everyone with their, if you can see my BFL shirt, everyone with their BFL shirt. It's like we have this army of BFL guys in the hospital. And thank you, Ohad. Ohad just put together this little montage. If you can see, one of the things about this picture, guys, if you look at it carefully, look at all the smiles. These soldiers are in pain, they're on morphine, but they're smiling. And the Achim L'Chaim is alive in every hospital. This organization was started in a hospital 17 years ago, 18 years ago, in Rambam Hospital. And these soldiers are, if you leave this up here for a minute, Ohad, they're really changing the lives of the newly injured soldiers. Now, the next level, guys, and this is really important, is we are as a team are starting to match, which we're doing already, injury for injury. So by way of example, we had a soldier, unfortunately, who is not going to be able to see again. He's blind now. And we put him together with one of our veteran BFL mentors who's blind, who can take him by the hand and take him through this process as everything he's going to be facing is a person who just recently lost their sight or a new amputee or injury. And they're living, our mentors are living full and amazing lives. And these soldiers in the hospitals are seeing themselves 5 years from now. And they're seeing hope. They're seeing that their lives are not over. They're seeing that they can be happy, they can be fulfilled, and they have a army of injured soldiers called the Achim L'Chaim that will be with them every step of the way. They will never, ever be alone. This is the promise of Brothers for Life, and the photograph you're looking at is the magic. This is BFL in action. I look at this, I'm so proud. I hate to see how many injured soldiers we have, but know that these our volunteers who are themselves veterans and injured soldiers are giving them everything they can, everything they can. And I'm so grateful to them, and we should all be grateful to them because they're going to help them heal. Now, I want to add one more thing. We can move on from that. Is Ohad is that they're also engaging our medical projects. So for soldiers who have complex injuries, we are on the phone we are getting their cases to the best doctors not only in the country but also in America, who are giving second opinions about whether they need surgeries or not. And we're working on a project to potentially bring some expert surgeons, to the hospitals here to help see patients. Because I will tell you that some of the doctors in the hospitals who are BFL members have been called up into the reserve. So the hospitals are, in that sense, are short-staffed. Every single one of these injured soldiers is going to have a mentor from our 1,300 plus injured soldiers. In addition to that, you're going to hear from one of our leaders, Naama Leidner, who's as part of the Spouses Project for our existing injured soldiers who can't work or been called in. Every single one of them got a phone call from our Spouses Project about what their needs are that they can provide. Thirdly, we have over 150 of our members, all of whom are injured, who are fighting in reserves, called up to reserve duty. Their spouses are alone with their children. We are taking them to apartments. We are helping them financially. We're reaching out to them for everything that they need. And that's our commitment as well. And on it goes. Now we've opened our Beit Achim, our center up again. We've got about 85% of our activities that are happening. and our alternative treatments and the Beit Achim and medical treatments are all going, they're going really strong. So what I want to say to you is I see Brothers for Life as a microcosm of this country, as the heart of this country. And I want to say, like, biyachad lenetzach, together we will be forever. Something really positive is happening in this country in light of the great pain and trauma we've been through and the war that we're fighting. We're coming together like never before. And it bodes very, very well for the country and for the Jewish people. And I want to lastly say before I introduce our speakers that, I get the chance, it's as a tremendous honor for me to talk to our BFL members who are fighting, who are going in and out of Gaza, who are all over the Yudah and Shomron, who are fighting and in the north. And I cannot tell you the level of motivation that they have. And it's not just, it's sustained motivation because they know that this is going to be a difficult and long process. And they're unbelievably motivated. And they also feel that they're not just fighting to protect their children and their families, but they're fighting to protect all of you as well and all of us. So we're praying for them and we love them. We have a really special, really, I think, unbelievably special short list of speakers for you tonight or today, if you're in America. Our first speaker is, to me, they're all tzaddikim. They're all the most righteous. Our first speaker is a BFL member who I spent time with in Miami. His name is Nadav Sabari. He served in Givati and was injured 9 years ago in the last war in Gaza in 2014. He lives right next to the Gaza Strip in Kibbutz Nachal Oz. And for those of you, most of you know, those who don't, Nachal Oz, along with Be'eri and Kfar Aza, were really massive. A lot of massacres that occurred. That was terrible what happened there. They were attacked by hundreds and hundreds of terrorists. And the morning of October 7th, Nadav was in his home. And he's here with us. We're so unbelievably grateful that you are alive, Nadav, and that you're with us. And we thank you for being willing to share what you went through a month ago. So with that, I will turn this over to Nadav.
Thank you, Rabbi. Good evening, everyone. So first of all, I'd like to say sorry in advance before I start to speak because sometimes it's easy to tell the story of what happened. Sometimes it's really hard. It's really unexpected. So if my mind is getting a bit foggy and I lose my my way of speaking, just sorry for that in advance. So my name is Nadav Tabari. I'm 34 years old. I live in Kibbutz Nachal Oz since 2016, and I live there with my partner. His name is Rotem, and we have a little cute dog. And I joined the BFL family in 2020, and I'm just gonna tell the story. In a month ago, I can't believe it's a month already. It's like I'm waking up every morning to October 7th all over again. I'm going to say that as Rabbi said, in 2014, in the military operation Protective Edge, I was injured. And 2 years after that, in 2016, I decided to go and live right in the place where I was injured. At first, didn't make any sense, but then I realized that this is my way of being a pioneer and a Zionist and to show the love for my land and to do it if I can't do it anymore in the army because I was injured, I'm going to do it as a citizen of this country. So it was the best decision I've ever made. It's a really small, beautiful community. It's all green, and once in a year, all Israel are driving south to see the beautiful area that's blooming around February, March. Um, I think this is part of the reason. I think that's one of the reasons that it's really hard to speak about what happened, not just because it was horrifying, but because that I admitting to myself over and over again that my home is changed, and it's really hard to recognize home these days. So at October 7th, I'm going to start with October 6th, actually. A day before, we were doing the last rehearsals for the major event, and that was supposed to take place in October 7th, and it was the 70th anniversary of the kibbutz. It was actually the birthday of the kibbutz. We were doing like these rehearsals, and we were singing and playing and dancing all together, and half of the community was actually part of this, of building this um, really happy big event that we're supposed to host at least 1,000 guests from all around the country. So we all went to sleep really excited and thrilled about the next day. And Saturday morning around 6:30, I was woken by the sounds of the alarm, the red alert alarm. Um, but there was nothing suspicious about it, because sometimes when people go to work and they have a traffic along the way, I got used to wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning and run, take my dog, and close ourselves in the safe room. Um, this is like a regular routine, which I have to do under 7, 8 seconds before the rockets fall. So it was nothing unusual about it. So that's what I did, and I went back to the safe room, and I was about to go back to sleep because I really got so used to it that I don't mind the alarms outside as long as I'm in the safe room. I can go back to sleep. I did it many times before. But soon we realized that they're not like a regular alarms or rocket launching. We were under barrages of rockets launching over and over again in dozens. We hear the explosions, which are way more loud than ever. And we realize that something not good is happening. And my partner, he's uh, he's the head of the emergency local team. He was elected to this role 2 months ago. So he had like a month and a half, and he felt that he need to get the community ready for something that he didn't know what would the something be, but we need to be ready. So the first thing that he did was to make contact with the local security coordinator, who coordinated all the forces, the local forces, with the IDF, and yeah, which was a good. He was a good friend too, and he responded to Rotem that um, there are many Hamas terrorists infiltrating the area of the kibbutz. They have guns, they have immunity, they have munition, and they just shooting everywhere, riding ATVs, motorcycles. And he said, I'm with a local force here, and we're fighting back. I'll keep you updated. That was the last message. His name is Ilan. He was a good friend. That was his last message to Rotem. and they were partners actually, managing the whole emergency that happened. So Rotem left on his own, to try to do something with it. Um, so around 7 and 10 minutes, something like that, Rotem sent to the entire community: lock yourself in the house, turn off the lights, lock yourself in the safe rooms, and don't leave until somebody come and get you out. As soon as I understood that the this how big this thing that is happening, um, we locked ourselves in the safe room. I fell to the floor. I lay my head on the bed and I started crying because I felt like I'm in the battlefield all over again. So all I said was I'm in protective edge all over again. And then a minute after, I felt like something inside me screaming that I'm not privileged enough right now to cry because this is time of survival. So I need to stand up and do something. So that's what I did, and I told Rotem that I'm fighting. This is me fighting. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out of the safe room because I don't feel safe in the safe room. Safe room is from rockets, not from terrorists. And so he was confused a bit, and he said, what are you gonna do?" And I said, "I'm going to make an ambush inside the house because I want to see them before they see me. And if I see them before they see me, I can run away or react or do something to save our lives instead of waiting in the safe room for them to open the safe room and kill us on the spot." So I took a knife and I went outside to the backyard, to the balcony, and I um, took all the furnitures, all the sofas that was outside, and I piled them up and in front of the big window so nobody can access it. And I took down all the covers of the windows, and I was just making an ambush inside the house, waiting for them to come. I did it for approximately 2 hours, and as I heard that the explosions from the RPGs and the grenades and the yellings and the shootings are getting closer and closer to the neighborhood. And not just that, because Rotem was getting all the information, we actually realized that more and more people in my community in general, but specifically in my neighborhood, are getting murdered a few houses away. I said to Rotem that our only chance to survive if I take the handle of the safe room apart. And in order to do that, I need to go and run outside to the shed, which was in the backyard, to get the tools. So I think around that time, I was realizing that this is something that I never felt before. This is actually a survival, um, I don't know, for minutes, for hours, for I don't know. This is something that I need to do right now. So I ran outside of the house. I took off my shoes so I can run faster, and I was running as fast as I can to get to the shed to take the tools. I go back to the house and I try to take the handle apart, but I got so stressed that I didn't bring the right tools. But still, we heard that the shooting are getting louder and closer. So I made another run for the shed to get the right tools. And I was running outside. I could hear the bullets hitting the curtains and the trees and the walls of the house, like something that is out of a movie. And I ran inside the house. Um, I took the handle apart and I grabbed a bottle of water and some food, and and I ran inside the safe room, and we just slammed the door behind us. We took the handles inside the safe room, and I just crashed on the bed and said to Rotem, that's the best we can do. If something horrible is happening from now on, just we can just be, you know, we can say that we did whatever we could. So during that time, I didn't actually realize what was happening. All this together happened until 10 a.m. It was still morning. Um, during the entire day, we didn't know actually what was going on from outside because we didn't have network, we didn't have electricity, um, and the power was on and off the entire day. There's no stabilities. We didn't know why it was happening, but it just made everything harder because you have no connection to the world outside. But I think one of the scariest moments were actually receiving calls and messages during the holiday because my entire family is religious. But but suddenly I see my entire family is calling me and messaging me. And then I thought to myself, they probably heard about me and they're so worried they had to call. But when I answer the calls, I realized that my entire family is in the area. They're all surrounded by terrorists with trucks and motorcycles. And my father and my two brothers and a sister were hiding in the cellar in the house in Sderot, hearing screamings in Arabic and shooting outside. And but at least I knew they are okay. I have another sister, which she lives in a religious kibbutz next to me also, and we didn't hear from her for a long time. Now we start to worry. Around 2 p.m., she finally sent a message, and she started telling me her story that happened during the morning. She was um, she was spending the holiday in Ofakim with her husband's family, and when the alarms started at 6:30, they all went to the safe room, and her brother-in-law came with his family too. And at, after the alarms, around approximately around 7 a.m., they heard voices from outside the house, and they saw from the window that a group of soldiers actually shooting an Israeli cop. They were confused a bit, but then realized that there are no soldiers, there are no IDF soldiers. It's just in a costume of IDF soldiers to confuse everyone. So they ran inside the house. They walked to the second floor and they hid there. Um, they have altogether, there were 5 adults and I think around 7 kids, all under the age of 7. And as they heard the terrorists starting to break into the house, my sister's brother-in-law rushed everyone outside the window of from the second floor. So as they heard the terrorists breaking in, almost all of them went outside. But when my sister's brother-in-law wanted to get out of the window last, he was shot and died on the spot. And my sister and her and my 4 nephews and the entire family, they were hiding on the roof for hours, not knowing if he is alive because they didn't see him getting killed. So they didn't know what's going on with him. But eventually they realized that the hours they spent on the roof was actually next to his unfortunately dead body. So when the IDF rescued them, they got them to the next house because the house on the other side had a family um, that was taken, and the house was under Hamas control. So then I realized when all the phone calls and the messages, I realized this is something that is huge. This is really huge, which means that my chances of surviving when I'm that close to Gaza Strip 800 meters, it means that everybody can walk by foot from Gaza to my kibbutz and easily take all of us back to Gaza. So during the day, I was trying to understand what can I do to help my community, because it's either I don't know, fall into full depression and freeze, or I go to action and do something. So I realized that Rotem is alone of coordinating all the forces that wanted to go into the kibbutz and actually help everyone. And he's getting all these messages and all these voice notes and all the phone calls from all the people in the community screaming and whispering and come and save me. They're killing us, they're shooting us, they're breaking the house, they're burning us. They just really horrible things that I I never imagined I would actually hear my neighbors, my friends saying, shouting. Um, so what we decided to do is that we get in contact with all the um, friendly forces around the kibbutz, which are private forces, which are IDF official forces, and whoever can come to the kibbutz and help us to and rescue us, we will keep in touch with him during the entire process. So what we did, that I went to the kibbutz map and Google Maps, and I made a mark on each house that sent a message out to Rotem that there are terrorists in my house. So I would mark the house, send it to Rotem. Rotem would send it to the forces in the kibbutz, and we did it over and over and over again for hours, thinking that's the only thing we can actually do. And during the entire time, we're whispering. Whenever we hear something from inside the house, from outside the safe room, I would go to my dog and I put my hand on his mouth so he won't make any noise. And I, I'm sorry that jumping out of the story, it's like whenever I'm saying it, it surprises me every time that it feels like I'm telling my grandmother Holocaust story. But then I realize it's actually me in the story, because I'm hiding, I'm whispering. I don't want anyone to know that I'm home. It's just, yeah. Um, um, During that time, many of my friends in BFL actually start reaching out and said, "How are you? How are you hanging on? What's going on?" Because they didn't even know what's going on. And I said, "I don't know what's going on, but it feels like I'm about to be murdered. I'm about to be kidnapped or burned, or I don't know what's going to be my destiny. I mean, I did my best, but I don't know if it's enough. I don't know what to do." Um, and they kept messaging me over and over and over again to keep me strong. Sorry. Mm. So I think thanks to them, thanks to a lot of friends that actually um sorry to say that, but lied to me intentionally, saying forces are on the way. So many forces are on the way, which afterwards I realized were lies. Nobody were on his way. And I was so confused of what happened. I don't have the answers. I was just left with the feeling of just loneliness in this darkness, that I cried for help. My community cried for help. My friends, some of my best friends, unfortunately, didn't make it, didn't survive. Some of them were killed with their entire families. I mean, there's actually nobody left for some of my friends' families, um, which is something that I don't get it until this moment. Um, so night came and it was getting late, and we were still trying to keep in touch with the entire community, saying, help is on the way. We realized that if we say that, people are getting hope. So we said over and over again, help is on the way, help is on the way. Hold on to the handle. Don't let go of the safe room handle, because if you let go, they will go inside it. God knows what's going to happen. And so from many of my friends and family, we didn't actually know what's going on with them, not until the next morning, or some of them into the middle of the night, when we actually saw them face to face. So around 1:30 p.m. in the middle of the night, 1:30 a.m. in the middle of the night, um, we heard that really hard, like, bangs on the door, saying IDF, IDF, screaming, and we're still in the safe room, but we didn't believe it, because even the terrorists started speaking Hebrew and shouting words in Hebrew. So they actually made people go outside, mistakenly thinking that the forces outside are friendly. So we said, tell me the name of the unit. Tell me some things that can make me identify you as an IDF soldier. But then I heard, because I listened closely, and I heard that commands that their commander were giving to the soldiers. Then I remembered some of them. Then I realized this is Hebrew. So we went outside, and immediately a force of like
This is
7 soldiers
signed.
came into the house, and said, guys, we have like a minute. I think our main goal was to get out of there, but then they're saying, in a minute we need to go out. Then in a minute my brain starts thinking for myself for the first time, of my ordinary self. Okay, clothes, bags, what do we get, what do we do, for how long, for how many pants, how many shirts, how many, what to do. And then we just grab, like, one pant, one shirt. We actually grabbed like almost nothing. So we took the dog, we went outside, and we went outside. We saw the backyard, we saw the kibbutz, which was usually green, but now it's all on smoke, with fire, crashed cars, and the burning trees everywhere. And we just wanted to go out of there. Um, they rescue us in armored vehicles, and as we drove the roads, we saw some unimaginable views that were the remains of the brutal fighting that happened during the entire day. So they took us to a farthest spot, in the kibbutz. From there, a bus took us to a military base in the south, and from there, I the entire community was evacuated to the north, from another with another bus. Um, Me, myself, Rotem, and I personally, we went to my father's house to join the shiva that my family was having. Um, and after that, we actually joined the community. So right now, we're in a kibbutz called Mishmar HaEmek in the north. And this is the kibbutz that actually hosts my community every time there's a military operation or something that makes living, like, not possible in the south. So this is where we are right now. We don't know how long are we going to be here. But as we behaved in the kibbutz, we're trying to do here. We're trying to volunteer as much as we can. And to put a cherry on top of all of that, I realized that a week ago we got a video of our beloved, beautiful, tiny house getting destroyed by a direct hit of a rocket while we weren't there. And if we had a dream of coming back to the kibbutz, because it's easy for us because our house was not destroyed. Um, the dream remains. It's just gonna take a bit longer to make it happen again. Um, and I just want to say, because we are gathered here, this BFL family, I can say that during the October 7th and since then, and it's not new to me because this is what I felt since the day I joined the BFL family, that my friends and the BFL family always taking care of me all the time. They're asking for me every day. They're helping me in every way they can. It's just a blessed because if I felt on October 7th that I'm lonely because nobody's coming to rescue me, and because thank God I survived that, it can be lonely again, but I don't feel that way. And a big part of it is because BFL family, which are my friends, are taking care of me in a really magical and I don't know, close way. Um, I'm here and I'll be back to the kibbutz. I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nadav. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. I want to tell you something. First of all, I love you. That's number one. Number two, our first project when this war is over is going to be a Beit Achim in the south, and I hope it's close to your kibbutz. I'm serious. We're going to build the most beautiful Beit Achim in the south of Israel, and I hope to see you there every day. Ezrat Hashem. Uh, Give me a second, guys. Sorry. That was amazing. So our second speaker is one of our new members to BFL, became a member in the past couple weeks. Itai Sagi was called to fight on the morning of October 7th, and he's actually joining us live from the hospital. He's in Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, and I can't believe you agreed to do this. I feel guilty that you're even doing this, Itai, but here you are. So
I feel guilty that I'm not in the hospital right now.
well, then you're not live from the
Well,
hospital.
I told them half like a 1 hour ago that I have a house of a good friend of mine. That's where I am right now. I'm gonna go back sleep there, but I want like a quiet place because I couldn't get any quiet place there. So yeah, I am in the hospital, but I'm gonna go there soon. um, Hi everyone. I really think I'm the newest member in the Achim Lachaim project. Um, I was injured in Wednesday, the 11th, and I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. So I'm gonna start with myself. I'm 25. My name is Itai Sagi. I serve in a unit called Maglan in the commando. On Saturday, I was hiking with my little foster brother, and just regular hike, like it was in Antina, if someone know. We do it almost every Saturday, just a routine for us. Not there, but like occasionally there. And like always, I didn't look on my phone on Saturday, so um, I just went there, and then they called me in 9 a.m. from my unit. A friend of mine called me and said, "Tai, you need to come away right now." And like, "What, you mean like a mission or something interesting, or what are we doing?" And like, "No, no, it's something else this time. You need to come away right now." I'm like, "Okay, but tell me what happened." And then he told me, "Just open Ynet, open the news." And that's what I did. And I couldn't believe my eyes at first. I like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now in the South. And at first I thought it's all just a propaganda of Hamas and it's not real. But unfortunately, it is real and I understood it very quickly. So I was on the way there um, to the south on Saturday, and I got there and I went to the army with all of my teammates, and my heart was filled with so much hate towards them. And I'm not the kind of guy that you go around and I don't hate people. And thank God that me and my teammates decided that we're not gonna look anymore in this death porn. I don't know how to call it else. It was just hideous, and it took such a big weight on our heart, and we feel it back with love to each other. And I'm gonna explain why that's what saved us, because in our clash with the Hamas, that's really what saved us. So we went there, and every day from Saturday until Tuesday, we had a different mission. Every mission, we said, okay, today's the day. We're gonna kick ass. We're gonna do amazing, and we're reserve, but we are fresh. You know, we only 2 years, and we do a lot of miluim, and we really want to go into action. And finally, on Wednesday, the 11th, it was around 4. It was 4. Um, we went finally on a mission. Like you say, okay, we're gonna go, and then they're gonna cancel us. But we actually went on the cars, and what we do, we fire direct missiles. That's what we do in reserve. In when we were in routine, we were just like warriors, underground and buildings. That's what we were better, and that helped us a lot. But now we're not supposed to be on the front line. We're supposed to be in the back and shooting direct missiles, which is nice and effective. On Wednesday, in 4, the 11th, we had a flat tire in one of our vehicles. We had 6 vehicles, and half of the force stayed with the flat tire vehicle, which was in Israel area territory. It was like 8 or 7 kilometers away from the border, next to a kibbutz called Zikim. Nothing dangerous, and we didn't have any. They didn't say there's going to be any terrorists, but we were alerted. So half of the team stayed with them, and half of the team continued with me to a bomb shelter where our commander told us to stay. And we went there and we stayed because there were a lot of bombs falling all the time, and we wanted to stay safe. So we just hang around there. It was half a kilometer away from my teammates, or half of the team. And after 3 minutes, they just 8 of the Hamas Nukhba fighters open fired us from blank, from like less than 10 to 12 meters. And immediately, 6 of us, half of the force, fell injured. And it was panic, and people didn't understand where it's coming from, and it just came from everywhere. And in that moment, I felt all of my life just shrinking to now. And I was like, oh my God, we can go into that bomb shelter. And everyone just ran into the bomb shelter. And I said, no, 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 no. That's what my brother always told me not to do because he's serving in reserve as well. And unfortunately, he was the one that cleaned all of the bomb shelters from the Nova party, and it was full of deaths. So I just said, I'm not going inside. And I saw my friend crawling like crazy, and he's shouting, they shot me, they shot me. And like, okay, I know that after him, there's gonna be a terrorist that I'm gonna need to take care of him. And it was less than 5 meters away from me. And he saw me and I saw him. And he started to shooting on the ground. And right before he got to me, I I fortunately hit his head before he shot me. And right after him, there was another one. And I shot him. He shot me. And then I just dripped fire on him so I can run straight to him. Because in my mind, I need to bring my friends the time to rally up and go outside to be with me. So I sprinted him while I'm shooting, and I shot his side from 0 meters away, 6 bullets. And in that point, I said, okay, now, now I have a bit time. So I went inside and called the guys out. And when I done that, lots of grenades started falling, and I avoid one, and then I avoid the second one, and I just didn't see the third one, and he exploded right in front of me, and he hit my neck and my arm. You can see here, all of this is open like this. It's still fresh, and that for me, it didn't end there. It only started. It was only 3 minutes inside of the ambush that they did for us. When I fell down, I had like this experience that I felt like I'm in the corridor and I'm seeing my body and I'm seeing my friends fighting like hell, and they were great and they saved us. And I felt that I have to go back. I have to go back and fight for life. I have to go back and fight for my friends and for my family. And I tried to breathe and I couldn't. And I tried to move and I couldn't. And like, oh my God, I can't give up. And finally, after half a minute, I finally could breathe. And then I could move my left arm and only it. And then I went back to the cover and to continue fighting. And my friend, which is a medical field, I think, a warrior, he just jumped at me and shouted in my ear, Itai, you're bleeding heavily. And I like, oh, that's why I'm wet. And he just pushed his arm right here and just pressed it so hard, and it was so painful. And after that, he had like a special pad that you shove inside of the wound, and then he continued and he saved my life there because I had like blood all over and I lost a lot of blood, but I didn't care. I just want to continue fighting for my friends. After 7 minutes of this hell, the other half of our team came and took care of the other terrorists. What happened when I was injured and before? I took out two of them in the same time. One of my friends had died when I was injured, kind of in the same time. He took out another terrorist and another friend that was hit. Both of them got hit in the head, and one lived and one died, unfortunately. And he got another two while he was injured, and then he ran inside as well. So thanks to them, we were alive, and there were another three terrorists that were shooting at us from an advantage. and it was another 50 minutes of fighting in bushes to take them out. I got evacuated after 35 minutes to the hospital. And I remembered that I was so calm that I'm I was like I couldn't believe that I'm alive after this experience. And I just was I can't explain. I was just happy to be here. And it was so painful. When I got to the hospital by helicopter, um, I asked to talk to my mom. I was in a bad condition, and I knew that I need to talk to her because I knew the doctor is gonna be talking to my parents, and I don't want them to hear it from them because I knew all of my neck is just opened. So I talked to my mom, and it was like, because it was really hard to breathe. Hey, mom, I'm okay. And then I was like, it's so painful. And then I want you to know that I'm in the hospital. I'm fine. I got a frag of grenade in my hand, but they're gonna take care of it now. I'm going to take it out. And then I hang up. And at that point I started crying. And like, I trust you. I said to the doctors, do whatever you need. And they put me to sleep and did the surgery. Unfortunately, when I woke up, the only thing I knew that happened, that it's something bad happened. 8 of us was injured, more than half of our team that was there, and 3 of us, of my best friends, died there. And that's the first thing that I asked when I woke up. I was still heavily with drugs, but I didn't care. Just want to know who died, and they didn't tell me. And then I asked who died again, and they didn't tell me. And only 5 hours later, it was 8 in the morning, they told me 3 of my friends died, and I was shocked. And days passed by, and I was sad, but thank God I could have talked to the rest of my teammates that was there for me, and I was for them. And I was in the hospitalization for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and now I'm in rehabilitation for a week and a half already, and I have another week and a half there, and I'll get, I hope, back home. And they take care of me really good there. And back there in the rehabilitation, no, before that, in the hospitalization, I met Ben from Achim L'Chaim, and he just came for me after like 4 days that I'm like, I have another face here, kind of, and it's all like super, everything is hurting. Like, Itai, I was in the same condition as you. You're gonna be fine. I want you to know that I'm here for you. And I really didn't understand what he was talking about. I said, thank you. I really appreciate that. And he left. And then he came back a day later, and again and again, and he gave me stuff, and he gave me this iPad. And he was there not only, of course, to give me stuff, but he was amazing. He showed me. I'm only a few days in this Achim L'Chaim, but it's important for me enough to come here and talk to you because it's not just any other program for me right now, because they took me to Kfar Truman and they showed me all the things that they're gonna do for me. And I was felt so blessed to be part of this. And I can't wait. It's sad because I don't want to be injured, but I can't wait to be part of it, of this family, the people I saw there. It gave me a lot of meaning. And let's see. I'm looking forward to the future, to get better in my spirit and with my health. And thank you for listening. I don't know more what I can say.
I think you said it all, Itai. I've never met you till the second.
Yeah, I'm the newbie.
You're the newbie, fresh meat, fresh blood. But I want to say something to you, Itai. And being serious for a second, it's really hard to put into words. You're on this Zoom with people from around the world, and I can tell you that they love you. Like everybody on this call, they're your family, and just like Ben, there's nothing that we wouldn't do for you every step of the way. There's nothing we won't do for you. Nothing. And you need to know that it's the Jewish people all over the world who are so grateful to you. We love you,
And
and
and I feel that. And I know it's only the start. And I appreciate it like hell. Like it's amazing.
you're amazing, kid. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. No idea. So just get better. We're there for everything, everything and anything. We're there for you and your family, and everybody on this
Thank you.
call is behind me. And so I'm gonna come see you tomorrow. So get ready.
In Ichilov.
I'll find you. Thank
Okay.
you, Itai. Kol
Thank
kavod.
you.
Yeah, no, see, guys. I don't even know what to say. I'm not going to be able to. I'm so excited and so blown away by this. I won't be able to sleep tonight. I can tell you that. But um, I think Nadav and Itai are great examples of why I always say this to you. This is the salt of the earth. These are the combat soldiers of the IDF. Our members are the tip of the spear, but they're also they're just our most selfless, bravest Jews, walking, living Jewish heroes. Every one of them. Every one of them. And we would, I don't know if Itai is still on this call. Itai, you can hear me. But what I didn't say to you, which I will say to you,
I hear you.
okay. I want you to know that we all feel like we have a debt to you we could never repay, no matter what we did. That's how we feel about you. So know that. So moving on to our last speaker, uh, we're going to hear from the CEO of the CEO of Brothers for Life. That's Yaniv's boss and CEO, Nama Leidner, who is also an officer in the IDF and was called into reserves herself. She's also the mother of five. And she's going to share a little bit of her experience about what's been going on this past month. Nama.
Hi, Rabbi. It's not fair to speak after Nadav and Itai. It's not fair, but I'll do it short. So hi everyone. It's a great honor for me to be here with you today.
You don't want.
I hear the bombs. What?
Yeah. Guys, please mute yourselves. Sorry, Nama. Please mute everybody. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Naama Leidner. Yaniv Leidner's wife. Yaniv, the CEO of Brothers for Life. The reason I'm wearing IDF uniform is because I was called up, as Rabbi Chaim said, and I'm presently serving in the reserve as a mental health officer. I just came back before the call. And that's what I was doing as in my army service, and now I was, of course, there's a big need for mental health officers. So the army called up a lot of officers to come from reserve. But however, this is not the reason I'm speaking to you today. Not even the fact that I'm Yaniv's wife. The reason I'm talking today is because of I had the privilege to take part of a very meaningful activity that Achim L'Chaim, Brothers for Life, has done from the time of the war broke out. About 40 women who are wives of members in the organization made at least 1,300 telephone conversations to the members of Brothers for Life. The goal of the conversation was to, to contact them, see how they're doing, how the families are coping, in this incredibly stressful time, and to see if there's any way or anything Brothers for Life can do for them in this challenging time. Many things came up during these calls, like financial need, supporting families, kids, people who were taken, like Nadav, who had to leave their houses with a few pants and pairs of pants and shirts for their kids, and had to go live in hotels. And of course, naturally, a lot of stressful hardship. If there was any need, we contacted the guys in BFL who are in charge of all the PTSD area. And in a few days, I think we covered the whole 1,300 members. I can honestly say that the understanding that no matter what, even in such stressful times, difficult times, Brothers for Life would be there for the members, knowing that we'll take care of each and every one of them, reach out and find all the emotional or physical or financial need that will come up. I think that was the most important thing. That was the goal. That was the biggest intention to have. I see Nadav agreeing. Just knowing that the BFL will be there for the members. Ohad, can you just show me? Sure. Share the picture. So Rabbi Chaim said, and even I have 5 children. So I can't see can you see the picture? Yeah. So this is like a drawing that someone did just now of a mother that says that she feels that she's doing nothing besides, holding the whole awful information and trying to protect her kids from seeing and understanding what's going on around. So I felt like it's a beautiful drawing, and I felt like sharing it with you guys. And I can tell you so that during this long month, it was very challenging. Hearing the news, I tried very hard not to hear too many stories and awful details, and at the same time keeping my kids safe, far from all the information. A lot of days with no school, 24/7, worrying for our soldiers, family members, understanding that Israel is never going to be the same after October 7th. I have to tell you that I know this organization since day one, right, Rabbi? I know a lot of people here in the call, Gili, of course, and a lot of people from abroad. And I can tell you, Brothers for Life simply saved lives. I've seen it time after time. And you guys are taking part in a great project, especially now when we're faced, I think, with the biggest challenge that we ever had since Brothers for Life was founded. Our partnership is important more than ever. And I just, as someone who lives with Yaniv and sees everything from the side, I want to say thank you very much for being here and for supporting this amazing project. And hopefully we'll all hear good news, happy news, and everyone will be home safely. Laila Tov.
Laila Tov, Captain or Major. I'm not sure which one it is, Nama. But that's quite a couple. Ohad, you don't have to put anything up. I just want to speak to everybody for a second. I'm really just so humbled by all 3 of you. And I mean, I'm twice your age, but I feel like I just admire you. I think I speak for everyone when I say that. And you show us how strong Am Yisrael, really the Jewish people are. And we are going to come back so strong after this war. This country is going to flower. It's going to blossom. It's going to blossom. It's going to be unbelievable. I mean, I promise you all that's what's going to happen here. Um, in the meantime, I want to say to you, BFL is going to double its size in very short order. Um, we started a $20 million campaign to enable us to do this, to take in these many hundreds of soldiers. We raised 15 million so far, and we need the last 5. We need your help. If you've given, you can give more, please do so, or introduce us to your people that can. We will get there. Everyone is standing up to be counted, and every Jew around the world has to right now, really. So I'm so, I think Brothers for Life has an incredibly important role, and we owe it to everybody. We owe it to Nadav, we owe it to Itai, and everybody else. And we're good on paying our debts. And so we love you. You're all going to come to Israel soon, and thank you for being here. I'm honestly at a loss of words, other than to say that ask Hashem protect all of our Chayalim as they risk their lives for us again and again, and that I say I'll finish what I started with, which is that B'yachad L'netzach, we're together forever. Love you guys. Thank you.